This week on Big Eyes, we reflect on the latest arc of My Hero Academia coming to a close. We discuss the culling games beginning in Jujutsu Kaisen, and the monthlies are back with Boruto and Dragon Ball Super. So stay tuned for all of these and more on the Big Eyes Podcast.
And welcome to an all-new episode of the Big Eyes Podcast. And here I have my sleepyhead co-host.
Hey man, don't put this on, bruh. Don't put this on me. It's on both of us this time for this one, man.
It is. It's a late night recording. It's a late night recording. Hey, now I'm kind of sad though, man. Like, it's a late recording, but just got word that the creator of Golgo 13, Takao Saito, has passed away. 84 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. Bruh, that's one of the longest running like series also, like
for real. And the crazy, I mean, like it's so wild because I mean, obviously that series only part of the manga has been translated in English. I think it's only up to the 13th volume. You can get it on Viz right now. Shameless plug. Shout out to the friends over there at Viz. But no, you can get the English versions on Viz. I think it only goes up to volume 13, but isn't there like close to like 80 something volumes or some?
I just looked it up on Wikipedia. It's 201 volumes, and it was still running.
I'm way off. I'm way off. I'm super off. Like I can't even see what I mean. Like just crazy. But yeah, you can get the first 13 though in English. Great series, an amazing movie. Yeah, man, fuck. Rest in peace.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Really the series that really kind of set the tone for espionage series on for manga.
If you want to go check out a good series, it's on Crunchyroll. It's really good, man. Listen, that it's sad to hear that, man.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I don't mean to start off the show on these vibes, but so it happens when you got to record at record late, and is what it is.
Yeah, man. But we also get good news coming out. Well, not good news, but you know what I mean. Like more news starts to come up, and we get to talk about other stuff too.
Yeah. Best news of the week is that Dr. Stone is coming to an end.
See, I don't want to agree with you, but also the series is coming to a good conclusion. I think like it's building up to a great point. In the recent chapters, we got introduced to Ryusui's brother, who is a very avid programmer. These guys literally had a big demonstration across the world to show how a calculator works for the people in the stone world. And they were like, okay, we got all the best minds in the world, and we need them to solve this complex calculator problem. And it was Zeno, Senku, and somebody else, and they all sat down, tried to figure out this complex math problem. And the person who was on the calculator when they created it was Magna, the one person who's like all against like Stone World, like he's a savage man, like just a big muscle head, and he just hit one button and just read the entire math problem out faster than they could calculate it. And it was like, bro, it was insane how they did that. I think that was one of the best chapters, in my opinion, as a tech person. It was one of the best chapters that Dr. Stone ever could like show off. So yeah, we're getting to a good conclusion. I would like to see what really happens when they discover why Man on the Moon. Man, Dr. Stone is actually one of my favorite series. Like when you get out of where the anime is and they start going into the open world, into the open seas, and they start discovering like the fights with Zeno in Corn City and going down to South America, that whole arc it's been a good ride to say the least.
Yeah, cool. Sounds cool. Sounds cool. Sounds like nerds. Bunch of fucking nerds.
Hey man, it be like that sometimes, man.
Sickle put it. Yeah, bunch of fucking nerds. Bunch of guys that got their heads put in toilets.
Hey man, listen, we're not gonna we only have a little bit more left until like the end of 10 billion % catchphrases. You know what I mean? Like,
please take it away forever. Take it away forever. I don't ever want to hear. I don't. Yeah, man. Fuck it. I don't want to hear 10 billion % ever again in my life.
Hey man, listen.
I don't want to hear about Pig Latin. None of that.
Hey man, Dr. Stone is a fun ride. Dr. Stone is a very fun ride.
Yeah, cool. So, on the more exciting things, Vegeta gets beat up again.
Oh man. Okay, we actually got to talk about this, bro.
We gotta talk about Super.
All right. So
how you gonna heavy breathe that Super, but you just went on a tangent about Dr. Stone? This doesn't make any sense to me.
Because people know what to expect with Super. They don't know like really where to fall in with Dr. Stone. It's just like how you pass it off is just like math and science and all of that stuff. Yeah, that's all right, cool. But there's a lot more that goes on to it. With Super, it's just like the same stuff we've been seeing for the last 30 years. Only difference is there's more character development kind of with it, and especially in Vegeta. Like,
okay, so here's my issue though. Vegeta has had some of the best writing that Toriyama has ever done, but it's for like all for naught. He gets like no payoff.
I wouldn't say it's for no payoff.
It's very little payoff.
Yeah, like
the last time I could truly say like that all that shit kind of meant something is when he fought Topo in the Universal tournament, because he beats a god of destruction or like a god of destruction in training.
I mean, yes and no, because we got that introduction, and now we see Vegeta kind of using that same power. And you see during this chapter where like he's not letting up on Granola. Like Granola is just letting off shots, like putting Vegeta down, and is coming to like a screeching halt. But like you don't think that Vegeta would actually give up. You know what I mean? Like Vegeta didn't give up this entire time. Like we could have said Vegeta took the L. Like he was this close to taking the L, but also he pushed Granola far enough in this chapter to where he almost had to blow up his home planet. And Vegeta knew like what that planet meant to Granola, because even then, like he still charged up back into Ultra Ego, knocked him into the city, started making fun of this man. Like, oh, so you do have something to protect, you know what I mean? And it's just that type of interaction with Vegeta where he knows like the feeling of both destroying and trying to protect something from being destroyed. Whereas Granola, like he understands like, okay, the Saiyans have destroyed my entire life, and Frieza was the one who sent them down here, so neither of them are excused. So this is why it's my mission. Meanwhile, you have the little AI companion going to find Granola's Namekian friend and trying to put a stop to all of this. Like it's still character development for Vegeta, but it's the parallel with Vegeta and his stance now compared to where Granola is now and how Vegeta was beforehand. So it's like there's a little bit more there, and they're trying to show like just a payoff from all the past interactions with Vegeta into where he is now.
Yeah, but it's like you write him, he gets all this development, especially in terms of his character, and internally you see his like emotionally all these things where he is grown. But then with something like Dragon Ball, especially where we're at now. I mean, just Dragon Ball in general. Dragon Ball, the true payoffs come out in the fights. All that training, all that growth, it always comes out in the fight. It always like that's really how they show off. Like, look how much I've grown. And think about this last arc, Moro. He goes to train on Yardrat. You're like, yo, Vegeta going to Yardrat to train? Like, he's actually, like, taking advice from other people? Like, what the fuck?
Exactly. Like, you never thought he did it before.
Just to go back, though, and get his ass whooped by Moro.
But he's actually, like, accepting help from other people to where...
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
It,
just to go get his ass whooped again.
but he helped with the fight though.
He helped.
Like it wasn't all for naught because of how Moro's final like climactic part went. Like we blame that on Goku for giving Moro the fucking sensu being and like being able to fuse with the world or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? But like if it weren't for Vegeta even going to learn that technique on Yardrat, all of that shit would have definitely been for naught. Like these niggas would be dead. It would be all over with. Like he was a
No,
key
I
player
mean
into that.
it wasn't. He was a key player. He still got his ass whooped. He's a key player. He's never LeBron. He's never the guy.
Yeah.
It's always like, I mean, I get it. I mean, I guess, I mean, that's been Dragon Balls. I mean, since he's been introduced, but he's never the guy. And then it's
You're
like you
not that
give him
guy,
all.
pal. You're not.
You're not like you're not that guy, pal. Like that's him constantly, and it just sucks because it's just like, damn, I like as a fan, I'm just like, I want my guy to be the guy, and he just won't ever be that guy. But it's just like they make him grow and grow and grow, and it's just like it sometimes feels like for why. Um, but I mean, this chapter. I mean, okay, this chapter was fun. It was exciting. You get a lot as always. You're getting a lot of action. You see Vegeta fighting Granola. Goku comes back. He jumps in. Fucking Vegeta gets mad at Goku for jumping in. He starts beating Goku's ass, and then he's like, he has that moment where he's like, "Man, yo, like for real, like let me fight this nigga 1-on-1. Like this is deeper than rap right now." Which is cool because Granola got, Granola as is like, he's on his vengeance grind right now.
Yeah.
He's definitely blinded by vengeance. Even that cool moment where they're fighting inside the city and they knock down that wall to the house and Granola sees the mom and the kid scared, and you have that flashback moment of him, seeing like, yo, like I don't know, like him seeing himself in that kid and that mom in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
and resolving his vengeance of like, nah, fuck that, like I don't care, I'm gonna put my entire life into this last blast, and Vegeta's pretty much sitting there like accepting it, like fuck it, I'm finna like listen, if this is how I go out, this is how I go out. Yeah, I mean it was a lot. It was just intense. But it was pretty typical Dragon Ball stuff.
Yeah, I think that was the best part where Vegeta is like kind of accepting that he can't go back to his old ways. Like this is basically Toriyama saying like he's not the person he was when we first saw him back in the Saiyan saga. Like he's grown and changed since then. He's had a family. Like people want him to go back to old Vegeta, like Majin Vegeta type shit, man. But
Nah, he's not ever going back.
he's not going back to that. But like also, it's great that we had the stall out for this long for the Namekian to come up and say, "Hey, man, like Saiyans actually helped us out. I don't think you realize like what really went down." So at the end of the chapter, he comes out and says, "Yo, the person who really saved us was Bardock," and it's like, "Oh shit." Like Vegeta know who that is, but Goku really doesn't because like when you see him Super Broly, and for everybody who knows like what happened like a long time ago with Bardock, like that's Goku's dad, and he was coming back from a mission at the beginning of Super, and there was a time where he was coming back from a mission, and we don't really know where he was coming back from, but all the Saiyans were called back to Planet Vegeta, and they meet Frieza for the first time, and that's when Bardock's like, I don't really like where this is going, you know what I mean? Something just doesn't feel right. Let's send Goku off before, shit goes crazy. So that's what like the first 30 minutes of Super Broly, like go if you haven't seen Super Broly, go watch it. It's actually it's a very, very fun time. But it's also
If you haven't seen Broly by now, I just can't even trust you, for it to be honest. You can't be you can't even be trusted if you haven't seen Broly by this time, bro. Broly was a
yeah,
banger.
yeah.
But pretty much Bardock is Goku's daddy, and
And
yeah,
also, it was foreshadowed like chapter 68 in Granola's dream. Like you see the little scar on the gray ape's face, and it's like, oh shit, who is that? And then he just wakes up like he had night terrors or some shit. Like the Saiyans
but
really had him that shook.
Yeah, because I mean, it's also funny because obviously in that dream, Bardock looks like an ape is about to kill this man, but in
Yeah,
reality, now we're figuring out that like in that what really happened is Bardock helped him out.
yeah,
So Granola's vengeance is all for naught. It's he's all super mad about Saiyans,
yeah.
but you got his life saved by one.
Yeah, so we're next chapter next month. We're gonna find out like okay the backstory to what really went down, and maybe he's not gonna be a Saiyan hater no more, and it's gonna be like, well, fuck, well, what about Frieza? Like I think
Man, we need to fucking
we're
listen. Frieza, Frieza will save this arc. It's either Frieza or the Space Jamaicans got to really do some wild shit.
yeah, yeah. Or you know what, Vegeta might even let them know like it really you can't really fault Frieza either because it's this dude named Beerus. You know what I mean? And he's way stronger than either one of us.
Man, fuck out here. Beerus gonna come down there and shoot both of them in the face.
Nah, dead ass.
Beerus is my dog. Nah, man, the Frieza. Man, listen, Frieza either got to pull up, or like I said, the Space Jamaicans, aka the Heaters. They gotta do something. We need something else. It's just.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super though. Like you said, like it's been the same formula for a very long time. I can't really say anything much more about it. It's super did what super does. Um, but I will say their counterpart, the other monthly,
Oh
Boruto. I kind of fuck. I've been fucking with it. I've been fucking, especially with these last couple chapters.
yeah, most definitely. We're getting the action kind of ramping back up. You got Kawaki on the run now. Everybody's on alert because they realize like, oh shit, like he's really not in the house.
The fact that he's erased his chakra thumbprint. That boy,
Exactly.
that boy built different.
Yeah, man. Like he legit played a good little trap card with these guys. So he's on the run. Code actually finds him in the forest as he's leaving the Leaf Village, and Boruto is like trying to let everybody know, hey, yo, y'all might not be able to find this nigga, but I can. like I
Follow me. Hey, we never talked about how this nigga Naruto went from the shittiest father to like the greatest father ever when this nigga Kawaki came around. Hey, Loki, Boruto need to be a little salty. Boruto need to smack Naruto one time. One good time. You need to smack the shit out that man.
yeah.
He ain't got the nine tails no more. So I low-key think Boruto
Oh
might
yeah,
be
he
able to
he,
whoop his
he kind of
ass.
vulnerable right now.
He vulnerable, he mad vulnerable. He need to smack the shit out that man. Listen, bro, you been a shitty father this entire time. This new nigga just start coming around, and all of a sudden you just want to start pulling up, coming to family dinner. You want to start being around, like man, fuck you.
And it's not
I'm
even like a
not.
clone you; it's actually you this time.
Yeah, it's actually you this time, bro. Hey man, I'm sorry. That fucking scene, that birthday scene. This nigga is walking with the cake and it just poofs and the cake falls, bro. I lose it. As soon as the cake hits the ground, I lose it. It's the funniest fucking scene in anime I've ever like. That's top 3 most funny scenes in anime I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Um, but nah, man. I've been enjoying Boruto because I know what Boruto is doing is taking risk. Listen, Naruto doesn't have nine tails power no more, which means other characters have to step it up. Right now, we got Code and Kawaki going at it, and
Hmm.
I think a lot of series right now on Shonen Jump, they're all kind of reaching some high climax points of like, especially in battle, or either reaching the climax or like it's starting to like, okay, we're back in battle mode, we're back in these fights.
Yeah.
Which obviously why we all love Shonen. This is why we're gonna we're invested into it. But no, I think I just enjoy the risks that they're taking. They take Naruto out the game, which means now we have to look and at other characters and be like, okay, cool, what's gonna happen? You got fucking Naruto still has the karma, and we're gonna he's still going back and forth between that and wondering like, yo, when is this power gonna come out? When is this? Kawaki has a moment where he's like, it's cool to see him go from, he really feels alone and he really feels like, yo, like I don't know, I don't really feel like I belong here. Even though Naruto's taking him in and see
Hmm.
him kind of, grow to feel like, although I may not still feel fully accepted by this village. There are people in here that have taken care of me, and I want to be able to protect them. So that's why he talks to Cole and just be like, "Yo, Cole, listen, I'm the one that killed Jigen. You lead them out of it." Cole, being the real nigga that he is, goes, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna kill all you. And I'm gonna make sure Jigen's like, little plan comes through and still get that divine tree popping also."
Yeah. I think the one interesting thing, like with Kawaki's whole development in this, is that the village is kind of like treating him like an outcast, just like how Naruto was when he was a kid. Because they
They
taught him.
don't fuck with nobody in that damn village. This village is a bunch of hating ass niggas,
Yeah, man.
bro.
It's kind of interesting how they're like, oh man, like Kawaki, we got to keep an eye on Kawaki. Like he did bring these people around, and I don't know.
Hey, man,
They kind of have that whole interaction while he's living in the village.
I don't know, man. Code might, man. They listen. Code might have some like people who've been trying to destroy that village. They might be on to something here. But you really gotta think, bro. Naruto wasn't accepted. He was out there putting his life on the line for these people. Goddamn, the Hokage told his pops like, "Yo, I'll take care of your kid," and fucking treated him like shit. And like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe this village needs a hard, like, maybe they do need a hard restart. Maybe they need a hard restart, bro. They might need to get wiped off the planet. The more I think about it, the more I'm just agreeing with Code. Maybe they do need to die. They might need to, bro. They just might.
Well, we're gonna see how that plays out because at the end of the chapter, we do get Boruto jumping in just in time. After Code is like, yeah, nah, fuck
Beating the
that.
shit out of Kawaki.
Beat the fuck out this man. He's like, you know what? I gotta let you live because there's somebody who actually wants to meet you, and like you were Ishiki's vessel. So like, I can't really destroy you because that was my god. You feel me? Like, so I'm gonna take care of you, but I still don't like your ass. You know what I mean? So we have Boruto.
Shorty was on the line. Like, please don't kill my man. Imagine watching your man get beat up in front of you and still, you know what? She a ride or die. I respect it.
Yeah, yeah,
But no. So yeah. But like I said, I think a lot of series are reaching a point, a transition point. Everything that's a better way to say it. Everything right now is kind of reaching a transition point.
yeah,
Super is transitioning into this little like we're gonna figure out the true past. Obviously, Boruto right now is transitioning, into this battle phase where we're gonna start. And, Code finally makes his appearance. My Hero, their arc is, I feel, officially has ended. As we're transitioning into a new arc for them, which is going to be exciting.
yeah,
This last arc, as a whole, you are able to appreciate it. Um, I think as it was being told, it was hard for me because of the pacing was so bad. Um, I think the pacing was bad, and it just my issue with Deku is that they make it seem like this kid has just been. No, I'm saying he's getting it. No, been getting it out the mud since day one. Like he done. I mean, and like he done gone through this traumatic, like all these like this Deku's done had this hard life and this and that and that and this, and even if you feel that he has, the fact that he has gone through this and then just still ends up at square one in terms of who his character is, it doesn't like I'm just like how like he goes through all this. They show like Deku has snapped. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going around on these rampages and beating people up and not showering and being a musty boy and all these things just for him to still go back and just be like, "Oh, my crybaby hero," and him just going back to just being regular as Deku. Like there's really no change in Deku. Like I don't know, man, but when you look at the arc as a whole, it really does. I mean, it sets the tone for for what's to come. I think Stain's appearance in this last chapter was really amazing. I think that last chapter with him and All Might was great. I think they waited till the perfect time for these two to finally kind of meet face to face and have this conversation. especially because Stain was really the one that kind of foreshadowed this of hero fucking society is built on some, you know what I'm saying, is built on some bullshit ground. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the heroes now, they're not really in it for what a hero should be in it for, and like that's why he respected All Might so much. And to see kind of now hero, society kind of turn their back on heroes and completely lose trust in heroes and whatnot, and you seeing heroes quit when things are getting really tough and all these things, and staying coming back, like not like talking to All Might and All Might too, that he really can't do much in the field. Like All
Yeah.
Might now is full, he's a support member. And but to talk to him in that moment of and be like, listen, you're the one though that has really set this path for these new heroes to come to truly follow of this is what a hero is supposed to be and this is what a hero is supposed to stand for. And him and staying and him having this reminder, even in staying doing it in a disgruntled way too, of like, man, fuck, I'm eating this washed up ass All Might. I wanted to be All Might last week. But yeah, I mean that moment was amazing. I mean overall, it was a good arc. If you take it as a whole, you kind of see the progression of it. But I'm really excited. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Same, pretty much the same. I'm gonna agree with you on that. I think it's funny how like it during the time that we're reading this week to week, it's kind of a slow paced thing, and we're getting so many things piecemeal. It's like, all right, where are you going with this, Horikoshi? Like we understand like Deku in the beginning we were like, okay, Deku is kind of going rogue and like he's kind of baiting himself, but also like he's taking it upon himself to believe that All for One is searching out him and only him, and we're trying to lure out All for One through that. But then you see All for One being a menace in the beginning, like blowing up the mansion. Deku is going around saving people, still on his rogue shit, and then we come to find out like nah, like that really ain't what it was. Even when we get down to the point of him leaving the letter about what One for All really is to all of his classmates, and like kind of revealing it that way, and them coming to say like the entire thing as a whole, like you said, like it's good. I think just the weekly experience of it was kind of the drag down part of it, but now we're kind of through the fire. The first thing that opens up with this chapter to kind of like get it to the conclusion is, yeah, nah, let's put this nigga in a bath. Like, bro, you stink. Like, nah, heat the bath up. Like, scrub your hair. Like, get a nap in or something like that, man. Like, I know you tired, dog. Them Red Bulls got to be kicking your ass right now. Like, so the fact that we got this whole resolution chapter and they're about to do something similar to like the school festival. I think Jiro is planning it out just to try to ease the mind and hearts of all of the civilians that are in UA right now. Like I think they're coming to back to around to probably another school arc. Like, but I think they're gonna try to do it in a different way where we're gonna see the light and dark side where All Might meets Stain, but the kids themselves are going to try to do things on behalf of like the lighter side of the story. You know what I mean? And I think that's where I see this going. But I'm excited to see where everything goes now because we kind of have a guide light in where we're going now, but we still really don't know how everything is going to play out. Like we foreshadow, like we see a lot of this stuff coming, right? Like we saw a lot of Deku going rogue and all of this, that, and the third. But now we're at a point where like, okay, so what's really about to happen next? Like we really don't know the direction that this could really take,
Man,
other than
they
just like
said
the final fights for everybody.
Them said they got a motherfucking month until that boy Shigaraki download complete.
Yeah, man. Like literally, they don't have that much time.
That boy getting that iOS 15 installed. I said, listen, man. I mean, listen, it was this last arc wasn't good. I mean, it was good, but like you said, week by week, it was not fun. I think that's just my issue with My Hero, there just be moments where week by week you just kind of go, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
just go, all right, and then but like when you read it as a whole, you go, okay, like I see the bigger picture now. It looks, you're able to appreciate it more as you get the full story or get the full, I can say you get the full picture. These next, I think where they're setting up now is, or where they're about to head now, I think is going to be really fun. Especially as they plan for this whole battle. I wonder. I don't know. I'm wondering what's on that damn USB that fucking that Stain gave them. I'm
Yeah.
excited for a lot of other things. I'm excited that we're kind of getting back to more of the heroes doing this detective work stuff. I think that's another fun part that I want them to continue to do in My Heroes. Not even just about the action. I really love like the like them figuring out clues and them figuring out like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think those moments are really fun in this series. I want them to continue to like push that more. I'm not really we've had enough of these characters crying and these characters going through these like emotional moments. Like, man, fuck the emotions right now. Like, figure out who the fuck is behind doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking solve the crime.
Yeah.
Solve the goddamn crime.
And it's crazy because we kind of know who's behind it. We just got to figure out, all right, where this nigga
Yeah,
at?
like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, figure some shit out. Like, quit crying. Go in the field and figure some things out. Ask some questions. But nah, man, the series, I mean, that arc is wrapping up. I'm excited to see where they're going into next. I mean, Deku's back in school and, okay, we'll see what happens. But the bigger event fucking is power to pop off. The event we've all been waiting for. The 1,000 rules, gone through all the rules. We've met some of the players, but it is official. The motherfucking Culling Games. They're fucking here.
Yeah, man. They're about to begin.
The Culling Games are here. I am excited for the negativity. You know what I'm saying? I might fuck around and put on the Olympic gear on for next week.
Shit.
That's how I feel. This feels like the violent Olympics, nigga.
I was about to say, Michael Buffer finna get on the mic and say, let's get ready to rumble.
Hey, listen, bro.
Like, it's really finna go down. Like, this chapter right here, I really enjoyed. Specifically because them coming full circle with Yuji's old classmates from chapter 1 that got him into the occult club. Like, I didn't think we would ever see them again. Like, the fact that they're really showing up right here, and you have Kenjaku entering their dreams. Not necessarily their dreams, because he calls it the cursed realm, which is the world between dreams and reality. And like he sits down with the girl who was in the occult club with Yuji and is like, yo, like, you got a one-time chance to really leave. Like, if you want to, like, I could really guide you here, guide you out this motherfucker. And like, before she wakes up, she's really sleepwalking, and like Kenjaku is just dragging her, like, sleepwalking. Meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of like curses just like in the background while she's sleepwalking, just like being menaces, eating people, like going crazy in the district. And realistically, you know how fucked up it is? The one thing about this chapter is she lives not too far from the center of one of those barriers. Like,
man, listen. Also, we gonna just skip over the fact that this nigga just thank you for getting along with my son.
Yeah, that really confirms like the dream that Yuji had at the beginning of, well, is it I want to call it the beginning of the little Fight Club intermission type thing. After he got his ass beat by Yuta, he had the little dream with his dad and his granddad taking care of him, and then you see like the stitches on his mom's head. So like the fact that we have that little moment right there with her and Kenjaku in the dream, it's like, oh, so that really does confirm it. So really, what the fuck is Yuji?
Fuck, man, I don't know. See, man, once again, man, listen, JJK, they are able to keep their foot on the gas and just tell like just a great story.
And here's the thing. Here's the best part that I think about it. You know how like JJK is kind of is inspired by Bleach in a way. And the one thing I kind of do appreciate is that like we kind of get a backstory for like Ichigo and like we see like what happened to his mom or whatever like that in the beginning. But with Yuji, we really don't see like a backstory for him for real. Like we just know like okay, he lived with his grandfather and his grandfather died and passed away and all that stuff from the beginning. But we don't ever really get to dive into what happened to Yuji before he got to high school. Like we don't never touch on that. We got everybody else. We got like the fantasies of like Toto. We get the Zenin clan backstory. We get Gojo's past in a way. Like we get the past for like a lot of these other characters, but we never really touched on Yuji up until that chapter where we kind of see his grandfather, his father, and Kinjaku. Like that's one of the most interesting things I appreciate. So I think we're with JJK intelligently like saying, okay, we have this main character, but let's not really focus on the main character. I think the fact that we're getting into some of Yuji's backstory now is a cool thing to see.
No, definitely. I mean, that's what makes it. I think that's what's been making it so fun because although his story is important, it's not the most important thing right now. If
Yeah,
that makes any sense. Like the stories of the characters around him are more important because they have been first of all, a lot of them have been in inside this jujutsu world much longer than him, so they have much more connection to what is going on um, in the current jujutsu world than him.
yeah,
So to get their backstories, to get their stories before his, it played an important part because you're starting to understand the world at large, and then as you slowly start zooming in, you can start you're starting to look at Eugene, you're starting to figure out more of his story, and you're starting to figure out like, okay, like this is how he starts playing a role in this bigger picture. Okay, this is how he plays into this, and so, the way that Akutami has wrote this is just it's great, and it allowed people and readers and fans, I feel like, to be able to connect with other characters outside the main.
yeah,
And it doesn't put the weight of the story on the main shoulders. You know what I'm saying? It evenly spreads the weight out between characters, which means that when you have the weight of the story evenly distributed, you're kind of able to do things with the pieces that you're probably not able to do if you just put all the weight on just one fucking character. You could take away Gojo for a while now, even though he's the strongest sorcerer here, but you're able to take him out the story. You're able to put someone in his space or in his place or whatever, and the story is still able to flow, and you're still able to go with it. Now, if everything was on fucking Yuji, you take Yuji out the story, everyone like it's not gonna hold the same weight because the whole fucking like he had like the main character had to shoulder the whole entire thing. But the fact that we're able to kind of make this main character, obviously you introduce him, you make him the main, he goes through this little thing, he has this burden of, what I'm saying, he has the power of the strongest curse to ever live inside of his body, all these things, like he has these things going on, and then you're able to introduce that, but then you're able to kind of quickly pull it back and then go, okay, but here are all these other characters that are also connected to this wider story, and here's their fucking struggles, and here's their fucking stories.
yeah,
And then you're looking at the story as big, you're like, oh shit, like, so that's how he plays into that, and that's how that plays into that, and then, you're able, it's like each piece is holding an equal amount of weight. And I mean, that's just what makes it amazing. I think the Culling games, and you know what? Tommy is completely correct. When he came back from that hiatus and when he said this is going to feel like a brand new, fresh new story, that is what it has felt like the entire fucking time.
yeah,
Since he's came back from the hiatus, Jujutsu Kaisen has felt like a fresher story. It's felt like a completely, like, what I'm saying, and I think that the Culling games is going to be something as insane, if not more insane than Shibuya incident. I mean, and even if it's something long like the Shibuya incident, that doesn't bother me because really, when you go back and read the Shibuya incident, it keeps you engaged every single chapter. It may have been long. It may have, you know what I'm saying? They may have been, focused on this one aspect of the story for a while, but it moves like a fucking 100 miles per hour the entire time.
Yeah, I think the other thing with the Shibuya incident is that like while we get so the way that JJK tells the story is like we through Yuji we're introduced to so many different characters that are a part of the Jujutsu world. Like we start off with like the Tokyo side. We see how Yuji interacts with Gojo, Nobara, Megumi, and then we start to understand like, okay, this is how the world is. And then we get into, Junpei and all of that stuff with Nanami, and then we follow up with the Tokyo versus Kyoto, and that's when we see like, okay, there's more to the entire Jujutsu school with these other characters. Like, we get Panda, Maki, the other side with Mai and Toto and Mekamaru and all of those guys, and then we start to build a more greater world through that. Like we have the cursed wounds, and then we see like the Gojo past, where we see like, okay, we get introduced to Toji in that regard, and then he comes back up in Shibuya incident, and then we get so many more characters that are involved, and like just like those school helpers who are introduced along the way that take Yuji and the gang along on these missions throughout the first half, and then it all climaxes into the Shibuya incident where we get all of these other characters. And then it just builds up more and more. And now we're at this point in the second half of JJK where it's like, okay, we have all of these characters now. We kind of gave them a foundation. We kind of showed like what their powers are like, how their characters are kind of written, how they're motivated and driven. Now let's put them in this one big setting and like let them go chaotic. What happens when we put all of these characters in like a circle and we have to make them fight to the death? How are we gonna play this out? So now that like we have Yuji and Megumi splitting off in one section, we have Panda and Hikari off in another colony, and we're going to see how the culling games really plays a part in like putting these people in this group. Like we didn't even touch on the fact that like we got the chapter before this, the dude who's the lawyer actually from the end of the other chapter who had the gavel, and how his interactions with society has been, and how like he talks about death row inmates really have no choice but to kind of believe in him, and he does what he can to like make sure that they're at least given a, a innocent verdict. You know what I mean? A not guilty verdict. You know what I mean? So it's like that he has these type of curses with him. So now that we're getting to this point in the culling games, we see how all of these characters kind of interact, and Kenjaku is the big mastermind behind all of this. Like I think the culling games is really going to get to a climactic point, and it really has felt like a different type of shonen. Like it's still the battle shonen, but now we're having like a bigger tournament arc. Like this kind of demon tournament levels. You know what I mean? Like dark tournament levels of
Oh
insanity.
damn,
Like
dark tournament levels,
I
crazy.
think so. Like I think it's one step above because like instead of like I'm not saying
Ooh,
it's
AD talking spicy on there. I
here's
like
the
it.
here's the thing,
AD
man.
talking spicy.
I'm not saying that it's better than Dark Tournament, but it's giving me kind of like in that same realm where like all of these demons are against like Yusuke and them. It's different in the sense that like we're on a greater scale, and how this is affecting the greater world in JJK, and how so many people are involved in it. You know what I mean? Like I think it's because of that scale. It's doing something different from Dark Tournament, but it's giving me kind of like the same feeling with it. You know what I mean? So I think with JJK in this final arc, I'm not going to say final arc because who knows what Akutami could pull out. Like these niggas could go explore the prison realm for like a good 30 chapters, like during all
Man,
of this.
listen, I'm
Like,
telling you, you about to bug out. You're about to bug out real quick. But
yeah,
I'm excited, man. Like you said, it's exciting times. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Exciting times to be a manga fan. Exciting times. All these things are reaching these high no, these high transitional points, these intense transitional points. I mean, shit, even One Piece, they're fucking Kaido versus Luffy. Do you think this is the final one? This is the one, huh?
Yeah, I mean, they already wrapped up with the last chapter. They wrapped up like Jack, who has taken the best L's throughout the second half of One Piece because he's lost to admirals. He done lost to like a whole giant ass mammoth or whatever, giant ass elephant. Like he, I think we're getting to the wrapping up point in the Wano arc. All that's left is like, well, I'm not gonna say all that's left, but there are still major fights. Like we have Big Mom versus Killer and not Killer, Kid and Law. We have Killer versus Hawkins, Apu versus Drake, the ninja fight, the Kaido versus Luffy thing, like, and Sanji, Zoro, King and Queen. Like we still have like a lot of major fights, but we just wrapped up 2 of them already. So I think that we're getting to the closer to the climax. I don't think Wano is going to end this year, because of how many fights there are left, but I think we're gonna see like a climactic end to the year because Oda loves like doing climactic ends in One Piece. So it's exciting times for One Piece altogether.
Oh yeah, bro, it's about to go crazy. You know what I'm saying? You got Momo Dragon, he biting cats. Momo finally,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
I gotta, I think I gotta remember that Momo, although he's an adult now, I think he still has a brain of a child.
yeah,
Or like the emotional, you know what I'm saying,
yeah.
intelligence of a child. So um yeah, but I'm excited to see where it's at. I mean, where are you placing Wano at in terms of One Piece arcs?
It's definitely top 3 for me. Like it's top 3 with Marineford and then Water 7 Annie's Lobby because those are like more emotional climaxes, but this is like all together like the second half of One Piece has built up to this kind of moment where from Punk Hazard we got introduced to Doflamingo and the alliance with Law, and then that alliance kind of dove into what's happening with Wano. Especially with after Dressrosa, we have the Zoe where they kind of reveal like what's really going on with Momo, the introduction of Jack, and kind of what's going on with Kaido, the side stuff with Whole Cake and Sanji, and them having to split up the crew, and how like Big Mom ties into the stuff with Wano. Like all of the stuff with Wano has been really fantastic. So I think it's definitely a top 3 to top 5 One Piece arc for me.
I respect that. Yeah, depending on how it's what you gonna call it. I think yeah, definitely depending on how it ends, it will be as long as he doesn't botch the ending. That's all I gotta say.
Oh no, Oda loves throwing curveballs at the end of chapters, like at the end of arcs. So I mean, like I have faith.
World government gonna pull up. Somebody like, you know what I'm saying? I think, I mean, it's obvious it's gonna get way more hectic.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna get way more crazy. Something finna happen, nigga, like fucking Dragon might be dead and they're gonna drop it on the news or some shit. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah,
something crazy gonna happen. I like how one thing I like that Oda does is that he always sets up the next arc before like the next arc starts. So
yeah,
it's like, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like you kind of know what direction like they're gonna go with the next arc or the next what adventure is going to be before the final arc is. So it doesn't, I mean, that's just kind of how he's built his world, which is really cool. But I think this final battle is gonna be really great. I mean, obviously this battle is, it's whoever wins this is they end up. I think whoever wins this is one step closer to King of Pirates.
yeah, pretty much. And it's interesting. Like the 2 biggest pirates are like in the One Piece world are literally right here on this island right now. So if they both get taken out at some point, well, now it's nothing but young heads also on this island who's fighting them. So like, who's
Yeah,
really close to this? Like, is it Luffy? Like, Luffy is obviously the closest one, but he's also like had this alliance with Law and Kid and all of these other like people who are in the same generation of piracy as him. So like, how is this gonna go down? Like when these two giants are taken out, like what's gonna happen next? So it's really interesting to see like how the future of one, like to kind of think about how the future of One Piece really could go. Like shit, it could really go on for another 40 years, though I really don't want it to do that. But like it's the thought of, well, what's really gonna happen next.
it's all good. But man, listen, it's been a crazy 2 weeks in for Shonen Jump,
Yeah.
and it's been it's about to be crazier hopping into October.
Yeah, man.
Y'all roll with us through the summer, staying with us bi-weekly as we ran alongside Summer at Kame's house. It was an amazing experience. If you have not listened to those episodes, you need to go back and listen to Summer at Kame. It's just a fun series of things. Shout out to Jeff and Mills, who holding it down over there on the lookout. But summer's over, fall is here,
Yes, sir.
and happy to announce that the Big Eyes podcast will be returning weekly. So no more waiting 2 weeks to hear us talk about manga. We're back weekly every Tuesday. We will be dropping. So make sure y'all stay tapped in. I mean, the only way to listen to the Big Eyes podcast is if you're subscribed to the Lookout RNC anywhere you listen to podcasts. You make sure you following us on the Lookout RNC on Twitter and Instagram. We got some very fun things coming for October. Manga of the month is going to be coming back. We'll make an announcement about that next week. We got a very fun special episode coming in October because it's real spooky hours.
Yes, sir.
Favorite time of the year. Halloween is my favorite holiday. So this is the best time, man. Listen, J5 is coming back with the 31 Days of Horror, and that's gonna be dope. I can't wait to see what a Triple Beam Streams does with that. So make sure you're tapped in not only with the Lookout, but make sure you're tapped in with RNC Radio Live, your one-stop shop for everything we're doing over here, Blackberry and A Show, all of it. All of it.
Yeah, man.
And make sure you guys are tapped in, subscribe, follow at RNC Radio Live. Want to just thank everybody. Episode 80. We pushing it. Dang, 2 years is almost coming up.
Yeah, man.
Episode 100 is almost coming up. We got a lot of things coming, man. So very excited. So don't miss out on anything. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're following the Look RNC and RNC Radio Live. AD though, what's our sign off, bro?
Yes, sir. Please read more manga, watch more anime, and be on the lookout, only on the lookout, for the Big Eyes podcast.